felt, but a lot of offense will have to be generated in the middle of the field today.
Yeah, and this is why Louisville is so tough, is they have injuries to their team, and they have enough depth to bring in a kid like Damian Barker, John, and Ethan Subashan, who are excellent.
Set, opening kick. Louisville leads the series 5-4-2. These two teams are very familiar with each other. NC State in second in the Atlantic. Louisville still searching for its first win of the season. And already a stoppage. This feels like a possible injury for Fasumzi Plamana, junior from Nkobo, Eastern Cape. Tactically tonight, Jeff, it feels like Louisville needs to take charge right away. At least that's the impression we got from John Michael Hayden.
Yeah, they want to be the aggressor in this game, and always at home. That's the style of play. As we look at Plamana there, he just caught Subashan coming across trying to win that header. Subashan needs to be a little careful there, leading with the shoulder, but. Yeah, NC State's got to defend a little bit. They're probably expecting that based on the shape that they've put out tonight. And if you're Louisville, you've got to make sure that you're patient, you work through your passing, you keep the ball, and you run off the ball to create openings and give your guys options to get creative in the attacking third.
It will bring Caden Tolentino into the match for the Wolfpack.
The earliest sub I think I've seen, and hopefully Plamana is okay there. He's with the trainer. They're just being careful with him, I think, Joey, after the knock to the head.
At least following looks like a concussion test.
Yeah.
In the interim, of course, safety of the player is the most paramount part of all this. Louisville donning the black, NC State in the red. Entry pass from Gaetano D'Argento gets tapped off, and this will be a corner, Sonder Road.
An important early opportunity here for Louisville to get something into the mixer and see if one of the big guys can get on it. Of course, we know Josh Jones is going to be the primary target here for Sonder Road. If it's a good service, Jones is as dangerous as anyone in the air in the country.
Lucas Hatzios in between the sticks tonight for NC State. This Road entry into the box, sample off the mark, wide of the cage. Hatzios, 5 games played so far. He had back surgery over the spring. Last year, he was the first NC State goalkeeper since 2013 to play a full 90+ and record a shutout in his debut. On the opposite end, his counterpart, Alex Fetnoff, did that in his debut earlier this season against Tulsa to open the 2023 campaign.
And really was a stake driving into the ground for Louisville with that win. That was a big statement win right out of the gate for Louisville, and Svetnov was a huge reason for that, playing really, really well in goal in his first start in college.
And you catch up with John Michael Hayden and the rest of the staff. They knew what they had in Alex Fetnoff. They didn't maybe expect the kind of success that he's had to this point in the early goings.
Well, we know he was not expected to be the starter this year. It was expected to be Troutman. And Troutman having the injury, Svetnov has just jumped right in, and he's ready to go. Has won the job, has been excellent for Louisville, and honestly has been a huge part of their build in possession. He's just a really smart goalkeeper. But I really like the reflexes. You just can't coach some of that stuff. I know that's such a cliche, but the ability to shot stop the way he does, the athleticism, he's already a really good goalkeeper.
Sample up to Road. And that was nicely headed down there by Lawson Abbas from Ghana. And that is George Kiefer, 7th season at NC State. Spent a lot of time down in South Florida catching up with him. He is really excited about the prospect of his team. Last year didn't feel like they really lived up to their full potential. Only 6 wins. They've already got 5 this year.
Yeah, they're looking for their first winning season in a couple of years. They haven't been in the NCAA tournament since 2019, but they started his time at NC State with 3 straight tournament berths. And the good news is they're going to keep having games like this to boost that RPI, and I think it'd be a big help if they could get some road wins.
Yeah, yet to win on the road, NC State. All 5 wins at home in Raleigh. Galen Tommy. Looped in. First touch for Alex Svetnov. And that first kick. He's a Golden Glove winner in the 2023 College Spring League and highly touted coming out of high school as well. So he got that first opportunity in the spring. Leans into the opportunity with the absence and injury of Ryan Troutman and hasn't looked back. The feeling out period for both these teams. Louisville ranks top 25 nationally in goals per game, shots per game, and shots on goal. There's John Michael Hayden, head man of this Louisville team. His 5th season, and Louisville looking for its 3rd consecutive NCAA tournament appearance, falling to Western Michigan last season. And a real heartbreaker. And the expectation for this team with the additions that they had through the transfer portal were relatively unknown. And then we got into the groove here, into the rhythm of the season through September, and they look like one of the teams to beat in the ACC.
Yeah, last year they started really hot. They were expected to be good, and they just kind of faded down the stretch. And this year they've started really well. They need to be able to sustain it and keep that depth, having impactful depth, I should say, through the course of this season as injuries start to build up, and make sure that they're playing their best ball going into the postseason instead of playing it in September.
There is a lot of credibility to peaking at the right time. And a lot of, you look at somebody like Creighton, a bit of the darling of the NCAA tournament last year. They were in the middle, very middle of the road team. They get the 6th seed in the Big East tournament, make that huge run all the way to the Final Four. Louisville wants to be working in this rising action.
Well, and that's the thing with Louisville is you can't fault them. I mean, you're not going to fault them. You're going to be thrilled with the start because, quite frankly, as long as they don't completely fall apart in ACC play, I mean, their tournament resume is already good enough to get in. If you finish 500 in the ACC, you're going to the NCAA tournament with what they did in the non-conference. But you just need to you're gonna take your lumps in this league. You just need to make sure that even if you're maybe losing or drawing games, but your performances are good, you maybe take advantage of playing some different teams in the NCAA tournament and have a good finish to the year.
There's Subachan. Through ball. Damian Barker-John. He stopped on a dime. That was really well defended by Irvin Cruz. And NC State survives the first run from the Cardinals.
Yeah, it looked like DBJ, a really great ball through from Subachan. And DBJ maybe trying to not trust his left foot as much, trying to get it back onto his right. And I think he had the step there. You got to try to get that across the face of the goal. And if nothing else, see if you can make the goalkeeper push it into traffic.
Axel Alejandre scooting down to Quentin Elliott. He's been very impressive in the back line. That's to Barker-John. Bit cluttered in the box for NC State, and they get it back out. We're top to Josh Jones, Saunders Road. Need a little couple extra hair lengths to get up to that one.
Big respect to Quentin Elliott, too. Did a lot of work down this left flank to get a cross in or get a pass into the area. I really like this left side for Louisville tonight with Elliott and Damian Barker-John. I think there's potential there for the quickness and the creativity of these two to cause some problems.
So tonight, Jeff, when you look at this Louisville squad, what are some keys to the game tonight?
Well, first of all, we know that when they're at home, Louisville tends to play really well. They've got to set the tone early. They have pushed the envelope a little bit. And then the attacking balance, you don't want to get impatient. You want to keep the ball, but at the same time, you want to use the speed and the pace that you have up front to get some early attacking opportunities and see if you can get an early lead. So I'm excited to see this Louisville lineup the way it is with this front three, because I think there's some potential for some fireworks.
Cardinals have scored first in all 7 matchups this season. Early and often. Maybe not what you could say about the Evansville match midweek. That took till about the 67th minute to really get going. And once the tie was broken, it was all Louisville. But Purple Aces played the cards tough. Subashan wrestling there with Emil Tirgo. This Wolfpack team trying to make a statement tonight. Jeff, how do you think they do it?
Well, you know, talking about the way Louisville starts, you always on the road, you want to be able to absorb the early pressure. 10 minutes in, NC State has defended pretty well, but I would say about all the way up through about half hour, you want to make sure that you've got a clean sheet. Or even you have a lead and you're able to absorb that early pressure. And then, look, Louisville is a team that is going to want to be on the front foot. They're going to play a high defensive line, and if you're NC State, maybe you could be disruptive, create some turnovers, and get in behind with guys like Hilly. So we'll see if the Wolfpack can do that or if their press can cause some problems for Louisville.
Dogento. Handled down, holding for Irvin Cruz. LaBelle, serving as captain tonight, passing over to his teammate Josh Jones, the other captain who missed the early part of the season. But now having him back in a formidable back line already is huge. Not to mention the tree in the middle of the box when you need him on those corners.
Yeah, a really important player. And a huge set-piece asset, but also just a really smart player and a key cog for Louisville. And is going to have to be a guy who helps them deep into the tournament.
Parker John, Quentin Elliott. Here's a run from the Cards. Out in front. What a save! I'm not even sure Hatsios had a hand in that.
I don't know how Louisville didn't just score there. It was a wide-open goal. I know there were some bodies that recovered, but that is going to be a moment we look back on if this game progresses. That is right at the only guy that you had to get it away from. And I realize it's a lot easier said than done, but I would have loved to see that just get dragged up to that near post. There was nobody around on that near post for about 6 to 8 feet. A big opportunity for Louisville early on.
That was Lawson Abbas getting in the way, taking it right in the chest. Freshman from Ghana. That's Saunder Road into the box. Josh Jones! And the Cardinals continue their streak and strike first once again against the Wolfpack.
Well, on set pieces, when you play Louisville, there's one guy you always need to be aware of, and Abbas got caught right around the penalty spot. He was trying to track him. He was trying to be physical with Jones, and I don't know if he was waiting for the zonal markers to pick him up on that ball coming into their area, but Jones just ran in between 2 defenders. Excellent service in, an easy header for Jones. You're not going to get much easier than that. And poor communication on the defensive end for NC State because nobody tracked Jones after the initial contact on his run. And that's, look, if you're going to let Josh Jones have a header like that, you're going to have a long night against Louisville.
His first goal of the 2023 campaign, had 3 last season, and his impact and presence was missed during his time sidelined with an injury. The Cards are more than happy to have him back.
Well, you see why, Joey.
Yeah.
You can see why.
What's the adage? Big tree fall hard? I think big tree scores hard.
Yeah, he's just, I mean, you sometimes you can get yourself caught up in trying to just go to one target all the time, but I mean, it's hard to not want to go after a kid who is a D1 basketball prospect, already has great size, but great ability in the air, great ability to track the ball. His timing is excellent. And again, if you're going to put service like that on the edge of the 6-yard box and play somebody in like that, I mean, I think you're going to have a lot of goals to score on set pieces.
It's one way to fill the absence of 2 of your best, most potent offensive players in Gage Guerra and Konstantinos Georgalides. The Cardinals make some noise here at Lynn early. Now NC State on the prowl to respond. Haven't really had a true offensive chance to date. And is this their opportunity? Caleb Tommy over to Cruz. Defended hard by Quentin Elliott. Picks his pocket.
This is where if you're Louisville, the experience from the Virginia Tech game should be fresh in their minds. You want to go get a second and see if you can put this game, it's never on ice, but you want to put yourselves firmly in the driver's seat here. And if you're NC State, look, you got a great opportunity here. You give up a set-piece goal, but now you have an opportunity to grow into this game, see if maybe you can get your own set piece as Plamana wins the foul right near midfield. This is a big opportunity for them to bounce back from the early goal.
Last year in the ACC tournament, NC State lost in double overtime to Pitt in that first round. They've lost in the first round of the ACC tournament each of the last 2 seasons. But for every team that is going to give you their best and especially want to make a statement, and they could against the 10th ranked team in the country tonight. But certainly a little salt still felt from that Virginia Tech loss. At least it seems that way from the Cardinals.
Yeah, and look, I mean, they finished strong against Evansville. I know we were talking about that game too, and that kind of helps you shake out the cobwebs a little bit from a frustrating loss. But you know, if you're Louisville, you don't want to take your foot off the gas pedal after that experience against the Hokies.
Mentioned Jones' proclivity as a basketball player, an all-state hooper in Pennsylvania, making a difference with his height, all 6'5" of him. Longtime captain for this team, MVP of the College Spring League as well earlier this season. I beg your pardon, before the season. Past 15, 16 minutes already in this matchup. Louisville with the edge as far as possession goes. Here's Gaetano D'Argento working against Lawson Abbas. Sample and Axel Alejandre. Andre forwarding, and this is falling right into the lap of Caleb Tommy. Wolfpack haven't had their chance quite yet. This is Butte.
And this is where both teams have to be patient. You know, if you're NC State, you're trying to eat the whole elephant here to get back into this game, and you don't need to. You want to work your way through possession. If you've got the opportunity to hit transition, do it, but you don't need to keep playing long balls and hope that somebody can run onto them. If you're Louisville, NC State is sitting pretty deep in some low blocks here when you're in possession. They're inviting you to pass into them, and you just have to be patient. You've got to use guys like Damian Barker, John, and Subashan with their smart movement, McManus, to find ways to carve opportunities in tight spaces.
There's Saunder Road, McManus, and DBJ trying to play that three-man game. Pass too long for Dogento, the transfer out of Bowling Green. Lawson Abbas will corral it. Interesting story about Lawson Abbas. George Kiefer, on a trip out to Ghana, found Lawson Abbas and saw him playing in a church fundraising league with some of his friends. And he said, this guy is just too good to not come play in the best soccer conference in the country. Recruits him and says, you're going to get significant minutes, young man, and make an impact. I believe it. We saw him save a missile off the foot of Ethan Subachan in the first 10 minutes of this match.
What a story that is, too. I mean, you know, he's a guy who gets this opportunity. It's a great place to go to school and a great place to live, too, in that part of the country. So a cool opportunity, and it doesn't hurt to be able to play some soccer while you're doing it.
There's no doubt. Now it's a foot race. Miltirgo and Damian Barker John wrestling in the corner. That ball trickles out of bounds for a Louisville corner. DBJ electric as ever. He just makes plays all over the pitch.
Yeah, he's really fun, super incisive player, and you're still waiting for him to kind of put it all together. He's got these flashes. He scored the goal, obviously, this past time out. But as a starter or as a sub, he is just such an important player for Louisville. He's a curveball off the bench. But, man, I can't imagine having to mark him constantly through a game.
Off the head of Quentin Elliott, goes back to the Wolfpack. Certainly a feeling of positivity for Quentin Elliott. 2 goals this season. Converted to fullback in the spring, comfortable with the ball at his feet. Experience last year as a freshman was going to help him this year. He got his first goal against North Carolina Greensboro earlier in September. He's just made an impact pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and he's a guy who played wingback as an academy kid coming through high school, so he's used to getting up and down, and he's got that attacking mindset. So he's a nice player for this team, and can certainly be someone to impact things. His pace is really good, but he's also just really creative and fun with the ball at his feet.
In the 22nd minute. So far, it has been all Louisville. Big day in ACC play. Now get Luke Hilly wide of the cage. Svetnov. He had a fire drill there for a second. That is, and I don't blame him. That is a shot.
Well, that's what Luke Hilly can do. He can hold off defenders. And Louisville, you know, they're happy to invite shots from distance, but Hilly is a guy who you've got to figure out a way to contain him a little bit. And if you're NC State right now, it looks like that's probably your best bet, is to try to get the ball at the feet of your goal scorer and see if he can create something. Just have not been able to connect through the lines. NC State sustain a ton of possession. Still obviously early in this one, but you got to see if you can string some passes together and make Louisville defend.
LaBelle all the way across the wide pitch to Gaetano Giargento. And this is Saunder Road. Dangerous with the ball at his feet. Poked back away by the Wolfpack. Oh, man, that was going to be a rip from Ethan Subichan. Second chance doesn't go.
Well, that was a heck of a turn there from Ethan Subichan. Well, I guess I don't know if you want to count that as a turn. He didn't touch the ball, but really smart reading of space. The defenders, obviously the shot is blocked there, but he freed himself up with that little dummy hesitation to his left. He turns back to his right, gets it onto that left foot, and really nicely done there from Subichan. You could see just these little flashes of brilliance from him already as a freshman. He's a very smart player.
His first goal against Bellarmine, the second game of the season. Just felt like it was bound to come. He just kept itching into those chances. Now it's NC State on the run. Junior Nare. And a beautiful block from Axel Alejandre. Now back over to Hilly into the lap of Svetnov.
Well, I don't blame Hilly for trying to do something in the area. He is who he is. He's a 9. He's a true goal scorer, so he's going to take that shot. But there were a couple of guys at the bottom of the screen who were pretty well open, or wide open there, from that first shot that was blocked. Was probably something that they didn't need. You've got entering into the area, Caleb Tommy is right there on the edge of the box. No one's around him. That's where the patience could be really helpful for NC State, is to keep working. You might get a better shot out of the scenario.
Caleb Tommy trying to enter. Josh Jones laying out and heading that one away outside the box. Now it's a long ball. Subichan chasing down, and Hatsios takes that opportunity away. Louisville pressing. Caleb Tommy again, working with Cruz. It feels like there's a little more pep in this NC State Wolfpack step, but it's Louisville again. McManus working against Lawson Abbas. Louisville patient as ever. McManus tries to save that one through, and it's back to the Wolfpack. Nobody home on that opportunity.
That's a great job there from Quentin Elliott to keep possession with that deflection for Louisville. Those little plays add up to winning results for teams, especially when you're at home. You want to set the tone, like I said. You want to be able to win the ball back, counter press.
This is DBJ. Wonderful work to get through, but Caleb Tommy trips him up, works through on that tackle.
Yeah, that had to be inch perfect from Tommy. And Barker John is just so difficult to deal with, requiring 2 defenders at all times.
Sophomore out of Queens, New York, become a bit of a mainstay in the front line. Generally a rotation player this year, really committed, especially tonight with the absence of Konstantinos Georgalides. Rode looping into the box. Back to the Wolfpack.
Yeah, there's a whistle there on the far side for climbing the ladder, but Bradley Sample and Axel Alejandre now, it seems like, based on the way these set pieces and corners have been taken, those two might have some opportunities, a couple more from, you know, edge of the area, 25 yards out. If they can get something on frame, it seems like they might be able to cause some problems.
Subachan scooting through. Damian Barker-John interfering. Open net. Damian Barker-John! His second goal of the year, and the Cardinals' second of the day. DBJ. Electric.
Well, that is flat out a disaster for NC State defensively. Kudos to Damian Barker-John for sticking with it. But you are unlucky there if you're Hatsios. He's slipping as he's trying to clear it. Your defender does his job, and Tirgo of just shielding off Damian Barker-John, and that's a heck of a finish from that angle.
Yeah, it is.
With a center back sliding at you, but Hatsios is going to replay that moment quite a bit tonight. Just trying to get something on it there, and he was just unlucky that his studs didn't catch the turf a little bit better for him on the edge of the area. It's a big second goal, though, Joey, because Louisville experienced the heartbreak of the Virginia Tech game, and NC State had started to look like maybe they were piecing some things together, look a little bit more dangerous, a couple of opportunities, and now they've got it all to do here against Louisville.
It's forever a momentum game, and Louisville has sucked the momentum out of NC State, a couple of offensive chances they've had.
You could really kill the game if you can get a third before halftime. And if you're NC State, you know, I'm just rolling out the cliches here, but the old saying is, you know, 2-0 lead is the most dangerous lead in soccer. It can be true, though, because you get one and you're right back in it. So if you're NC State, you just want to keep playing. You got to be careful. Mind your P's and Q's, as we just saw. You can't make mistakes on the back line because Louisville will pounce on them. But if you can get one back before halftime, we're playing a different game in the second half.
Laterally again to Damian Barker-John. Entry. Headed out nicely. Will Butte. D'Argento sliding through. Saunders Road. Might have a chance at it. Taken away. Enrique Santos. Junior Nare. Wolfpack coming in after a win midweek against North Florida, following a loss to Virginia. That's who Louisville will have next on the road in Charlottesville. Cruz working hard against LaBelle. He's got a little room. Nicely done by Bradley Sample. A little slide there for your teammate.
Yeah, Cruz did really well to beat Bryce LaBelle. Nice little shift of momentum, but just unlucky that the blocked cross bounced back off of him.
Early in the 2023 season, we talked about some tough schedules between these two teams. Markedly Louisville. NC State played UCF. That's their only other top 25 loss. lost that one 3-1, and the Knights have been owning the top 10 over the last couple weeks in the national polls. But front-loading that schedule, both these coaches acknowledge that's the way to really get your team ready for conference play, because it really is kind of a second season, if you will.
Yeah, and that's, John Michael Hayden especially always talking about Louisville's non-conference schedule. I mean, you're going to have Kentucky on there, but to throw in the Tulsas of the world, I mean, you're playing a very difficult UNC Greensboro, very difficult schedule to get you ready for these types of matches. You're going to play really good teams loaded with talent across the league. Virginia Tech showing it. You're talking about a team that was not picked to be a top contender in the ACC, already 2-0 in the league. They came to Louisville and beat Louisville. So no easy games in this conference, and you want to get yourself as ready as you can for these contests, because it's just going to be a slog through the ACC.
Virginia Tech beat Louisville in the ACC tournament last year too.
A little bit of a boogeyman for Louisville.
Yeah, the Hokies are definitely have played their best inside Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium. Working through Scotty Taylor, Duke transfer, graduated in that Blue Devil program. He was a mainstay as a striker. Want another opportunity. Family in North Carolina. There's Brandon McManus outside the cage. That was a good chance tapped on for McManus.
Well, it's funny that we're 30 minutes into this game, and we've had a couple of flares of great moments for Louisville attacking, and we haven't really said Brandon McManus' name yet, but he is just another piece on this Louisville squad. A very dangerous player. He can play out wide. He can play center forward. Nice player to have, transferring in from Kentucky, a hometown kid.
And he's been working through a little bit more on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like the first few games we only saw him really holding in the midfield.
Well, he's a really physical player. He can help you defensively from that wide forward position. And he's one of their leaders, a fiery player too.
NC State, even numbers here. This is Butte, across the head, outside of the cage. That caught the corner on the outside. At least made me hold my breath for a second. Maybe I thought that was a goal and nobody celebrated.
Yeah, NC State just trying to find some joy down that left side. See if they can get Nare involved. You got to keep finding opportunities for Hilly to get something on frame. Louisville can be caught if their fullbacks are high and they're in possession and they're really pushing forward. But you need to be able to play that sharp direct ball, whether that's a through ball down the same sided flank or if you're switching possession to the other side with a long diagonal. You don't always have to play it in the air, but you've got to see if you can find pockets of space in behind those fullbacks.
Plamana is back out on the pitch after the first 15-20 seconds. Had some contact with Ethan Subachan. Their heads briefly colliding. Good to see he's back out there. Final 10 in our first half. Cardinals have been really in control since the jump. Jones working hard against Scotty Taylor. These two are obviously familiar with each other from Scotty Taylor's days at Duke. And he's worked in tandem very well with Luke Hilly this season, much to the pleasure of George Kiefer and his staff. DBJ to Sonder Road. Subachan working hard against Andrew Fox. Got a little step. Ethan Subachan to Sonder Road. goals for the Cards in the first half.
I don't think there is a goalkeeper who could stop that. I mean, that was an absolute rocket. That is what Sander Road is capable of doing. Got it on that right foot. Absolute rocket. Just cannot give really anyone in this front four any space. Great work there from, who's that, Subashan, to get it to Sander Road. But man, he just got a couple steps into it. I mean, there is no chance for Hatsios on that one. And Louisville making no doubt on this one that they are going to finish things off after the Virginia Tech scare from a couple of days ago.
Well, the junior from Tranby, Norway, earns himself a nice little rest here, working hard for that goal. Incredible effort from Sander Road. Taking a bow after that one. A lot of good reception out of the Louisville fans, and deservedly so.
Yeah, it's been three really well taken goals here for Louisville. You got the set piece, a little bit of everything. The set piece header for Josh Jones off a brilliant delivery. You've got the really tough finish. And it was Sander Road, by the way, on that delivery for Josh Jones's goal. You've got the tough finish, sticking with it for Damian Barker-John, winning the ball back off the goalkeeper and tucking it away from a tight angle. And then that was just a sublime finish from Sander Road, set up by Subashan.
I like that. You a sublime guy?
Why, are you saying that because you know I'm old? Jeez. But the answer is yes.
Well, it better be. Bakuzo to McManus is just wide of the cage. Wow. Louisville is playing with house money right now.
Yeah, they are flying in this first half, trying different things, getting creative, reaching deep into the bag to see what they can come up with. And Brandon McManus, just talking about him a minute ago, how dangerous he can be, almost able to redirect this. And that would have been quite the finish to cap off what has been an excellent first half for Louisville.
Barker-John, ball at his feet. Oh my! DBJ, have another. Second of the match, still the first half. And it has gone from great to excellent for the Cardinals and bad to worse for the Wolfpack.
Wow, it was really a wonderful build-up, too, as Louisville playing down that right flank, a curled ball into the run of, I believe, who was that? Was that D'Argento, I think, down the far right side, and then Damian Barker-John. I mean, that he saw Sander Road's shot and told him, hey, buddy, I got one for you, too. That was unbelievable, and I can't blame Lucas Hatsios. He's basically saying to his guys, what is going on here? Look, it's hard if you're NC State right now because Louisville is just playing really connected, good soccer. Obviously, the one goal was off of a deflected clearance, but the other three have been really well taken. Good finishes from a really good attacking team. It's hard to defend. I mean, it's just really hard to defend guys who are hitting shots like that from 18 yards out.
He is just a star in the making. I mean, you can really tell he's got, schematically, he's got it down. He's got the skills down. He's also got a little bit of the showboat attitude about it too.
Yeah.
And that's what you like to see, a little edge, chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, that's what you want out of your wingers, your wide forward, whatever role you want to assign him, your inside forward, however you want to call it. He's just got so much ability. He can stretch the field for you. He can get out on the on the touchline and spread out defenders, pull you off the away from traffic and take you 1v1. He can hit it from distance. He can press you and counter press you and win the ball back. I mean, he just does a lot of things, but at his best, Damian Barker-John has the ball at his feet and he is tormenting defenders. And you're right, he plays with a lot of joy, a lot of verve. It's very fun to watch.
JC Rivera, our head official tonight, keeping everybody calm. Chris Schufrance, Rogelio Alvarez, and Aaron Rollins are crew tonight. Sammy Murphy enters the match for Louisville. And for NC State, obviously some urgency is required here. But how urgent do you need to be at this juncture? I mean, you have over 5 minutes to play in this first half. Is it, hey, let's get a goal on the board right now, or is it let's just regroup?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just want to get to halftime and see if see what you can cobble together. I mean, look, I think in a game like this, obviously NC State is not used to getting drummed. I mean, they are a good team. Their games, even losing 3-1, I mean, you're still getting a goal out of it. You're still in it. And so I think at halftime you regroup a little bit and you talk about how to be the best version of yourself in that second half, be competitive. That doesn't have to be a goal or two back. Obviously, they would love that. But at this point, it's a learning experience for your team, and how do you regroup and move on to the next with a positive second half?
They've clearly got the talent to do it.
Yeah, of course.
They've done it.
It's a good team.
Yes. They've done it 5 times over in Raleigh. Have struggled on the road. And maybe that's just it. You got to figure out how to win on the road. These types of matches are tough, especially in this conference.
It's really odd that they've given up 3 goals 3 times and now 4 on the road. So I don't know what it is about defending on the road, but 13 conceded in 3.5 games away from home is just not good enough, and they are getting absolutely torn apart here by Louisville.
McManus entry just taken away from D'Argento by Will Butte. See Gabby Velez there on your screen, one of the other freshmen and newcomers on this team. Jones avoiding that head collision there with Luke Hilly. NC State pressing a bit here. See Hakeem Karamoko, another newcomer to this Wolfpack squad that has made a difference thus far. And Louisville has been excellent. Mentioned that they're the first to score in every single match this season. 11 goals in the first half. Pretty remarkable to be outscoring your opponents by 8 goals.
Well, you really want to get on the board early and assert yourselves. And in this case, if you're Louisville, you didn't want to leave the door open. And I mean, they have. What is harder than slamming the door shut? Because that is what Louisville has done.
There's a run from Nare. Gets tied up with D'Argento on the end line. Goes back the way of the Cards.
Newcastle game today was going to be the only pileup of goals that I was going to see. They beat Sheffield United 8-0 in the Premier League, which is unheard of. And this is pretty unheard of, too, in the ACC. I know there's some lopsided games, but you don't see too many 4-goal deficits at halftime in a league this good from top to bottom.
Last time Louisville scored 4 goals, it was actually 5 against Eastern Illinois in October of 2021. We'll get a pending stat for the last time I had 4 goals in one half. Markedly the first half, man, that bounced right off the noggin of Brandon McManus working against Lawson Abbas. And in fact, it was that Eastern Illinois match. Last time they scored 3+ in the first half of any match back in 2021. So not too far gone for the Cardinals. Sample.
Well, these last few years, John Michael Hayden has had really good teams getting forward. And the key is just going to continue to be developing that. I know we talked about it earlier. I'm not in no way am I trying to be a wet blanket. You gotta keep this momentum deep into the ACC schedule. I know that's not easy, as they almost scored again off of a deflection there, but it's not easy. But that's why guys like Damian Barker-John and Georgalitis not playing tonight are so important to this team, because whether they're curveballs or whatever, they need to help you.
4-0 the count from Louisville on the back of 2 goals from Damian Barker-John, Jeff, from his powerful left boot. I've said it a couple times, electric, and that's a term coined by you, actually, to describe Damian Barker-John. So I'll pay you later for the copyright. But
it's apt, isn't it? He's just a really fun player. Sonder Road has been excellent.
Starters really kept in for Louisville. This is Quentin Elliott. It's tripped up by Cruz, and Elliott seems to be shaken up.
Yeah, now if you're Louisville, look, obviously you want to keep playing well and finish on a high, but you also, I know John Michael Hayden at halftime was probably talking to his staff a little bit about when they want to start bringing in some rotation players and rotate the squad a little bit, keep some legs fresh, avoid injuries. I can't imagine they'll get more than 15 minutes if the score stays the same.
Sonder Road entry, Josh Jones, and a save by Hatsios.
Like he got a little too physical trying to get up and over the top of Lawson Abbas, who's had his hands full dealing with Josh Jones on these set pieces.
Yeah, perhaps too physical on that play. Didn't hear the whistle in real time. But if you're going to do it, it's Josh Jones physical again, this time with Luke Hilly. And Hilly prodding for some type of foul. Sweeps through, down to Lovelace. Scooting to Hilly. Working against Jones. Lovelace again, wide of the cage. Stays with the Wolfpack. The first corner of the night for NC State.
And that's what you want to see if you're George Kiefer. You would just want to see your team play at a higher pace, be a little bit more decisive and incisive. And who knows, maybe you get something off this set piece and it's something to look at on film for future games.
Entry in, headed down. second chance wide. That was Karamoko, one of the exciting newcomers for this team. Freshman from New York City.
It was a good ball in, and a couple of bites at the apple there for NC State. And again, you know, you just want to, if you're the coaching staff, you want to see your guys fight and compete here in the second half, down 4 goals.
Lovelace moving laterally to Enrique Santos. Entry in, Bryce LaBelle. Svetnov, wow, a lot of contact with Karamoko.
I like the aggression there from Svetnov. Coming off his line. Dangerous moment there for LaBelle. That's a tough play as a forward because he didn't really, it's not like he jumped out of his area into the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper was the one who came into the area. I think it was probably the right call, but I'm not sure what else he could do in that situation.
Especially ball in the air. That's got to be some of the most frightening when you're looking up. Everybody else is looking up. You're bound to run into somebody.
Well, especially in this case where the goalkeeper is going to be aggressive coming off his line. That is who Svetnov is.
Here's D'Argento. Sweeping through. Subachan in a foot race with Hatsios. And the junior goalkeeper from Charlotte corrals that one. Stops the Louisville chance for 5.
That was a beautiful pass from D'Argento.
Hey, Ethan Subachan has been the benefactor of some really nice entry passes for his goals this season.
Well, and it's a sign of a guy who makes good runs, who is available for his teammates, and they can have some fun with some good creative passing when they know that they've got somebody on the other end of it who can finish it.
Santos scoots to Velez. Fends off DBJ. Stays with NC State. Through ahead to Drew Lovelace, and this is another corner for the Wolfpack.
Good defending there from Barker John coming across to knock the ball away.
Entry into the box, finally headed out promptly. Scooting through. Karamoko had a chance. Chased down by Dylan Mitchner. This goes back to the Cards. They're also without Kendall Edwards tonight, another mainstay in the back line. Louisville is without Mason Tatafu, the Hofstra transfer, CAA Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. So Bryce LaBelle, Josh Jones, Quentin Elliott, and D'Argento. It's really an embarrassment of riches when it comes to this back line when everybody's healthy. Tatafu out, Gage Guerra out, Konstantinos Georgalides out, but you wouldn't really know it. This team has certainly not felt those absences rather.
Yeah, you keep wondering in a game like this, at least at the beginning, knowing that Guerra's out, he's been such a lethal guy. Louisville just acts like he doesn't even exist or that they even need him. Of course they do.
Here's Hilly. Looking for Lovelace across opposite side of the box. That's Elliott working the inside channel. Keeps his feet after the slide tackle attempt from Tolentino. Now Elliott's on the run. Chance stymied by NC State and Gabby Velez, Irvin Cruz and company.
That was about a 50-yard run from Quentin Elliott there. A lot of effort.
Entry through D'Argento, and that's a goal. Beautifully done. Luke Hilly gets NC State on the board.
Well, and NC State gets repaid for its efforts there as the Wolfpack coming out in the second half with a little bit more energy. They get down that right side, Elliott making that long run. They're having to kind of shape shift a little bit, Louisville defensively. And look, I mean, Luke Hilly from that angle with that much space is not going to miss. That guy is as good as anyone in the league at taking his chances. So now you say, look, if you're NC State, it's 8 minutes in, you get your goal. I mean, Louisville scored 4 in the first half.
You never know what can happen.
You never know what can happen, but I think the biggest thing for them is say, hey, we got on the board. You're really encouraged by these first 8 minutes.
Yeah, Svetnov kicking himself there, but broken play. Quentin Elliott, like you said, takes that 50-yard run. You almost lose a back there who's normally sticking around in a bit of an unsettled situation. NC State takes advantage, and that's really what George Kiefer had in the game plan, was to take advantage of those unbalanced situations against Louisville, and they do it there.
And that's why you have guys like Hilly on your team, because they can take advantage of those opportunities in those moments.
Subachan scoots to Sonder Road. Can that maybe ignite this NC State team? Not 9 minutes into the second half. The 53rd minute scored for Luke Hilly, the junior from Cary, North Carolina. Normally home of the College Cup Final Four teams. But this year, it'll be right here in Louisville. Come December and tournament time.
I'm excited for that. That'll be pretty cool to have a different type of competition in town. Obviously, you've got the top division Racing Louisville in the NWSL. You've got the second tier Louisville City on the men's side playing at that beautiful stadium downtown.
Clinched the playoff spot last night.
That's right. Full disclosure, great. I work for both teams.
Great call by you last night as well.
Thank you. But yeah, no, this is it's a great opportunity to have college soccer come here, and I'm hopeful that the teams that come here, I mean, Louisville's good enough to be in that competition. I'll get to see this beautiful facility as well.
Alejandre contending there with Karamoko. It's going to be fun. As much fun as the regular season is in the ACC, when it does get to tournament play, that makes it all the more exciting. Thrilled to be able to see what both these teams can do in the latter part of the season, but we've got them right here, right now. Both really at their best. Damian Barker-John through, and that was Lawson Abbas poking that one away. LaBelle and Karamoko bumping heads a little bit. Seen that a few times tonight as well. But he's playing hard.
Yeah, both teams are physical and just ball in the air there. And yeah, LaBelle trying to knot it down as Karamoko kind of started to get upright. Bryce LaBelle, over the course of his career, 4 years, I'm sure if he sat down and wrote out all the times of the nicks and scratches and bumps that he's gotten, it's a long list.
I agree with you.
Guy sacrifices his body night in and night out for Louisville.
He's been long accredited for being the heart and soul of this team. Big reason why he's wearing that black armband. And it just feels like the back line goes as he goes. You also have Josh Jones back there as well, or in the other captain's band.
Yeah, I mean he is great. That's a great phrasing, heart and soul. I mean he's the heartbeat of the team. He works his butt off. Him and Brad Sample really just hardworking guys. They don't do a ton of flashy things, but they will throw themselves into situations. And obviously having Josh Jones back there too makes for a pretty good spine defensively for Louisville.
It was actually you who told me that he was the heart and soul. So
there you go. Well,
no wonder you liked it so much.
It's a great quote. That's so true.
Nice job by D'Argento to corral that ball away from Velez. Alejandre gets a good run at it. Scooting to Subachan. NC State's got the numbers in the back line. Louisville not resting at all. They want more. That was nice defensive work from Cisneros, just checking in onto the pitch.
It was a good job shifting quickly on that big switch from NC State to make sure they defended it well, and now they can unlock something.
Here's a run from Lovelace. Slid and tackled away. Josh Jones blocking that one, and it is off the back of D'Argento. At the very least, you get a nice run at it from Lovelace. No action until the second half. Sophomore from Holly Springs, North Carolina.
Having some luck down these, or not luck, they're finding some easier paths down the flanks as Louisville pushes bodies forward. NC State using that right side to get the first goal and working on this left now.
Road through to Subachan. He's dangerous with the ball at his feet. Up to McManus. Back to Road. This is great from Louisville. Saunders Road. McManus and DBJ had the chance, but it goes wide over top both of their heads.
Yeah, that was excellent through the middle. Subachan a couple of times chopping his defender to get it through in a new space, and Saunders Road really nice down the right flank. Good ball into just a bit too tall. A little behind McManus. You see here, this is why Subachan is so dangerous, just turning defenders right and left. I mean, Tolentino is doing his best, but he is on skates. With Subachan going at him, and then great build up there to get Saunders Road available to make that cross in, almost rewarded with goal number 5.
Last time Louisville had 4 goals in the first half against an ACC opponent was against Boston College back in 2017. Last time they had 5 goals against Eastern Illinois in 2021. There's Subachan trying to add at that as Velez carries that away.
This is good stuff here from Louisville the last 5 minutes or so. You don't want the game to get too open. Obviously, I mean, you're still up 3 goals, and they're hunting for more, and that's how good they are. You certainly don't want to just sit around and pass it between your center backs either, but if they can kill this game off with a 5th, they'll take it, but they also have to make sure it's not too open.
Road entry, Josh Jones, saved by Hatsios. Man, that was almost the 5th.
That's a heck of a save there from Hatsios. As Josh Jones once again just causing all kinds of problems. And then I think Bryce LaBelle.
He almost had just the right touch on it.
Yeah. Oh, that was an opportunity there. An excellent save from Hatsios, getting down to his left.
He's really stepped up in this second half so far through the first 15. Latter part of action. Here's Lovelace. First goal didn't come until the 13th minute for Damian Barker-John in Louisville. What began as a drizzle turned into a storm for the Cardinals. NC State gets the goal in the 53rd minute, trying to find its second. On through and chased down by Cisneros, and Quentin Elliott finally trickling out of bounds. The Cardinals will get some subs on. Bakuzo and Parker Forbes will enter the match for Louisville. Vizumi Plamana in for Tolentino for NC State.
Well, if that's the end of the night for these two guys, both of them played absolutely excellent games. Obviously, Damian Barker-John with the 2 goals, the solo effort, chasing down the goalkeeper, blocking the clearance and finishing from a tight angle, and then just showing his absolute class, cutting back onto that left foot from the edge of the area. And then Quentin Elliott, really strong performance from him, carrying the ball forward, causing problems for NC State defensively, but then also coming back and defending in his own area, his own half as well. A nice performance from him, as we've come to expect from Quentin Elliott. He's been a really nice player for Louisville.
I mentioned earlier, first career goal against UNC Greensboro. From there, he's just made play after play. Saunders Road got some sugar today as well. Normally tabbed for his assists. Had 1 today, had 3 before this match. The second goal this season. Now Subachan. Saunders Road through to Bakuzo, wide.
Well, you watch the sequence there, and the ball was played into an area where Bakuzo, you could see immediately, apologizes to his teammate, because Bakuzo's a really smart player, and he's trying to wrap his body around that and square it across the face of the goal, and you can immediately see he's saying, look, I know I missed that there, but nice build-up again. Louisville's just looked really good in possession with the ball at their feet. Louisville
here at Dr. Mark and Cindy Lynn Stadium in Louisville. Comfortable, smooth, 70 degrees. Jeff Greer, Joey Lindstrom with you. This is a big day for the Cards, searching for their first win in ACC play. NC State trying to find its second. It defeated Boston College earlier a couple weeks ago, lost to UVA last Friday. Luke Hilly had the goal earlier, matched his career high for goals in the season with 6. Kuzo, Saunders Road. Louisville will head to Virginia next week. Here's a chance. Butte, no, what a save by Svetnov. Coming out of his comfortable zone in the box there to contend against that one and prevent NC State from its second goal.
Great awareness from Svetnov to notice the moment there that had been created off of the shaky defending gets deflected into the area there. Good defending, too, from Axel Alejandro to come across, but Svetnov alert to get in there and just make Butte have to think about something and rush his decision. That's one of the toughest things to do for a goalkeeper, is to know when to go and when not to go. But in that moment, you need to make your opponent make a quick decision, and if you rush them, they're less likely to get it technically sound.
Here's Lovelace. Chase that ball down nicely. Karamoko. Dribbled down to Butte, and Svetnov there to corral it. Nothing doing for NC State on that possession.
But the larger picture here again is, I think if you're Kiefer, yes, the game has opened up quite a bit here in the second half, but if you're Kiefer and you're NC State's coaching staff, you're probably pretty happy with the competitive fight that your guys have had. They've had some shaky moments.
An almost chance there. Louisville a little bit unsettled again.
Yeah, they've got to really tighten up a little bit defensively. That was another time where there was a bad giveaway. You can see Josh Jones telling his guys to chill a little bit. NC State forcing the issue too. They get some credit for that, obviously, but you know, Louisville's got to be sharper in possession out of the back.
Subachan corrals here. See a little magic. Subachan trying to create space for himself. Hatsios keen to it.
Subachan is such an exciting player, isn't he?
He's just got something.
Yep.
You know?
Loves to get on the ball and dribble, and just keeps pushing and pushing and probing and finding areas to get into. And for a freshman to be that aware of his movement and understand how many problems he can force by dribbling like that, I mean, it's hard to teach that.
And there's been a freshman each year that has impressed John Michael Hayden and the rest of the staff. Last year, probably Konstantinos Georgalides and Damian Parker-John.
Yeah.
Georgalides got most of the play last year, especially from the wing. And then you look at somebody like Subachan. Maybe he's the next, the heir apparent, if you will. If not for Gage Guerra, I think Ethan Subachan might have a lot more on his plate this season, a little more expectations for such a young player, but he gets a chance to learn under Gage Guerra this year with the reigning Patriot League Player of the Year entering for the black and red.
Yeah, you want the opportunity to play, and he's getting that, but you also have the chance to learn a little bit, and that's huge too. And who better to learn from than a guy who comes in as a transfer and is immediately your captain, or one of your captains anyway.
Karamoko. NC State trying to find its second goal over top the cage. Karamoko, happy feet there, trying to get this deficit split. Been a heck of a weekend here at the University of Louisville. Women's field hockey team rolling. Top 5, I believe, as well. See volleyball, a lot of ladies there, they're rolling as well. Also a top 5 team, just winning outright. Business handled against Boston College yesterday for the football team tonight, and it continues with this men's soccer team. Ethan Subachan checking out of the match.
Another guy.
Impressive minutes.
Yeah, sorry, another guy who had a really good night for Louisville and played really well. Quentin Elliott looking like he's going to come back on. A little surprising there, but yeah, I mean, this has been a great start to the fall semester for Louisville sports, and it's a fun time to be in the city with with Jeff Brom back as the head coach of the Louisville football team. But I'll tell you what, the women's volleyball squad has been fun to watch for a few years now.
Yep.
And as someone who moved here 10 years ago, it's been really fun to watch this city just fall in love with that team. They just set an attendance record. They've been to the Final Four twice, national championship, and they are so good.
Dana Boozman-Kelly's got that squad rolling every single season. They're dangerous. Made for a competitive match last year in the national championship against Texas as well. But there was really no stopping that Texas team last year. Those Logan Eggleston and company were ready to play.
Yeah, that was cool to see that Final Four, though. That was really fun, competitive competition. It was very enjoyable.
Well, it was.
To watch. I mean, it was. It's what you hope a competition is.
Yeah.
They'll be frustrated to have given up a goal here, and I know there's still 19 minutes left for Louisville, but this has been really good in the since the goal, really, for Louisville. They've had a couple shaky moments, but they've also looked really good in possession, and they've weathered some stormy moments here to look really sharp to finish this thing out.
They're ranked as high as best in the country in RPI, unofficially. Santos, that effort stymied by Bryce LaBelle. And that's really been the story of NC State's offense tonight. Played back a little bit in the first half. Not a whole lot of chances. It was really all Louisville. Pressing, getting forward. Louisville climbed all the way to 5 before that Virginia Tech loss. Racuzzo to D'Argento. He'll take a whack at it wide of the cage almost. Beautiful opportunity.
Yeah, I like that from D'Argento. Good stuff from Bacuzzo as well. There have been some really nice sequences tonight for Louisville to get opportunities, and he just tried to curl that in the far post and just fizzed it. Not sure. It does look like Ratzios probably had that covered if it was on target, but still good stuff.
And he'll check out, and that means Elijah Brisbaggi will check in as well. I beg your pardon. Quentin Elliott in for D'Argento. McManus back on the pitch as well. Chatting with Lawson Abbas.
I'm sure they were just discussing maybe like Halloween plans or
just a month out.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I'm excited for sweater weather too. Love that.
Yeah, the changing of the seasons. I'm a warm weather guy more often than not. I know it gets chilly in here. They're just in the clock on the field for the final 17 or so minutes. J.C. Rivero chatting with John Michael Hayden. Friendly fist bump, we play on. Next home game for the Cards against Missouri, Kansas City. The Roos will hop into town. After that, head to Clemson and then host 2 matches in a row, Ohio State and Boston College. through mid-October. See Brijbazi now entering the match in for Sonder Road, who has been proper tonight. An excellent effort from Big 46.
Yeah, really great performance from him. Set up the first goal with great delivery on this cross. He's such a good crosser of the ball. Always hits it clean. And then he had that excellent finish on the edge of the area. As good of a match as you could have from your 10 in the midfield.
Bradley Sample, not a name we've called a ton tonight. I mean, he's been holding it down midfield and back line, but he's a player that does make an impact as well for this Cardinals team. Forbes, Brijbazi.
It's a thankless position that Bradley Sample plays. Defensive midfield holding. Got to sit in sometimes. If you've got guys like Quentin Elliott and D'Argento love to get forward, he's got to read those situations and drop in at fullback at times, fill that space, and just know when he needs to be an option for his goalkeeper. He's just a really sharp player, and again, another guy who's not afraid to throw his body at something.
Jeremiah Luoma standing in the corner with Josh Jones. Sees Svetnov, who's ACC Defensive Player of the Week after the win against Tulsa and the win against Bellarmine, 2 clean sheets in a row. Let up some goals against tough opponents, obviously tough opponents too. And fall to draw with Syracuse, fall to Virginia Tech. He's well established himself in a position where John Michael Hayden and the rest of the staff, Sean Tiepen, Stephen Looney, Darren Yeagle, they all knew what Svetnov had in him. It was just a matter of putting him in some pressure spots to see how he handles it. Well, I'd say he's handled it pretty well.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, the Tulsa game alone was very much a how do you do Alex Svetnov type performance. I mean, he just made a handful of excellent reflex saves.
That's Sammy Murphy. Ball at his feet. Chance here. Brijbazi gets pushed down inside the box. No whistle. Alejandre. And the entire Louisville bench prodding for justification in the Brijbazi push. Or rather, the Plamana push on Brijbazi, and this is back out for a corner for Louisville.
Let's see here. Yeah, I think that's probably a penalty. I mean, yeah, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. Defender's on his back, clatters into him. I feel like that's a pretty clear penalty there. Typically, I'm pretty, at least for me, pretty conservative on what's a penalty and what's not, but I feel like that was a pretty clear one.
Sample into the box, Josh Jones. Wow. An amazing play to knock that one away by Dylan Mitchner.
How does Josh Jones not got like a hat trick out of tonight?
Be a literal hat trick. They would have all come from his head.
Great ball in from Sample. And another really good save from Hatsios.
Took just the one for Hatsios to wake up on those Josh Jones headers. Because since then, each opportunity that Jones has had that has felt like pretty much a goal, he has been very ready for. .13.5 to play here in Louisville. Quentin Elliott. Oh, this is good stuff. Out in front and an own goal. The Cards reach 5. Off the mistake by Gabby Velez. He's kicking himself, but Louisville gets their 5th. Quentin Elliott credited with his 3rd goal of his season and of his career.
Quentin Elliott did all the work here. He split 2 defenders. He sticks with it, cuts back, and had McManus available. Just kind of it's what you want to do in that situation. You just want to play it across the face of the goal. But how about Quentin Elliott? I mean, this was some work here from him. He splits the 2 defenders here. He cuts back. And again, in that position, you just played across the face of the goal for exactly that reason. The defender is facing his own frame, and he's got to deal with it, and he puts it in the back of his net. And in a 0-0 game, it's the same exact situation that you want. You want your guys playing something that has to be defended across the face of the goal. When a defender is facing his own goalkeeper, stuff like that happens, and that's a credit to Quentin Elliott. We were talking about it earlier, Joey. I mean, he has had an excellent game. He doesn't get credit for the goal, but in the end, it deserved for all the work he's put in getting forward.
That's a shame. He was the last Louisville offensive player to touch it, right? So, unfortunately, does not count. This is Luke Hilly. And Axel Alejandre pokes that one out. So the Cards reach 5 for the first time since October of 2021. They had 5 against Eastern Illinois. First time they've ever had 5 goals. I beg your pardon. First time they had 4 goals and a half against an ACC opponent when it was against Boston College. Now a 4-goal lead against NC State tonight.
And it really just has been a dominant performance. I mean, the scoreline reflects it, but Louisville's probably had 3 or 4 other opportunities that I would count as really big chances to make it more. And NC State, to their credit, competitive in the second half, much more so, but just a dominant performance from Louisville.
Bradley Sample will take his leave after an excellent set of minutes. And R.C. Schmeider in for him. Svetnov, man, Karamoko was there. Try to contend. Luoma, rather. And Velez gets tabbed. The handball, was that the signal? I missed.
I think it was the I think his arms were a little too high in the kind of the jostling for position, so I think it was deemed a push from the referee. And at this point, you've got subs for both teams for the most part in. You just don't want... The referee has done a really good job. You don't want it to get any more physical, chippy, or anything like that. Just see the game out.
That was clever from Prishbazi. It's now Bakuzo.
How good have LaBelle and Jones been, by the way?
Amazing.
With Elliott next to him, and D'Argento had a good game too. That back line had a couple shaky moments, but you can tell how much better even Louisville can be when everybody's playing at their best. Josh Jones in particular has just been an immense figure on both sides of the field.
John Michael Hayden was pleased with the effort against Evansville. It just felt like when they got that nut to crack, they finally opened the gates a little bit and they get that win over on the border, the other border town of Kentucky. And we're in Indiana. Now it's Sammy Murphy giving chase, working against Cisneros. Outside for a Louisville throw.
Yeah, you snap out of it. They definitely struggled in that Virginia Tech game, obviously. Yep. Took the early lead, struggle, and it took forever to get the goal against Evansville. Evansville's a good program, but to get that win there late and then come into this game and really show your class, I think Louisville will be thrilled to be where they are after this one. This is a great first win in the ACC for Louisville.
Nice work by Parker Forbes. Lovelace has been involved tonight for NC State as well. No goals to his credit quite yet. North Carolina High School Player of the Year in 2021. Wolfpack were happy to get him in recruiting, according to Coach Kiefer. A little bit of jostling there. How about this? Sammy Murphy offsides. NC State's next matchup, midweek home against Gardner-Webb. Had a lot of success at home. Louisville will head to Virginia next week, and then on Sunday, NC State hosts Notre Dame.
That's a tough one.
And that will be...
That's a big one.
That'll be a real test of your home prowess, that's for sure. Hilly. Good through, trying to find Lovelace. Louisville snags it away from him again. They've certainly made it hard on the NC State offense. Is this an error here? Velez almost had a chance against Svetnov. Would have been retribution from the own goal, that's for sure. Yeah, that Notre Dame game is going to be a tough matchup. There's no doubt about it. ND always plays teams tough.
Well, I mean, they're one of the best teams in the country, and
Yep.
it's just so tough in the ACC because, I mean, you come here, you play Louisville, top 10 team. You've got your two big rivals right there in your area between UNC and Duke. As UNC beating Duke tonight, such a tough game. It's just a really brutal league to play in when you're trying to find your footing.
Forbes pushed along to R.C. Schmeider. Seven Atlantic Coast Conference titles for Louisville. Here's Forbes to Brijbazi, offside once again. And some line changes in for NC State and Louisville. It's the time to get some of your more inexperienced guys in there. Of course, you see Ryan Nichols there. He's had some play. Along with Aiden Nokus. Lomo. Down to Lovelace. It was a nice shot, and Svetnov there to save. He has been on point in between the sticks tonight. Lovelace, a heck of a shot there.
Yeah, really well read by the goalkeeper. In the end, it almost looked like an easy save. Obviously, no saves at this level are easy, but he's just so comfortable in goal for a guy who hadn't started a collegiate game before this year. You talk about the schedule NC State has. I was just looking at it, Joey. Starting with tonight's game, their final, if you include this one, their final 6 ACC games at Louisville. I'll give you the unofficial RPI. Louisville's 26 right now, Notre Dame 13, Wake Forest 14, Duke 35, Syracuse 16, Clemson 23. And those are some of the best teams in the country.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a gauntlet.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
And George Kiefer knows that. This is a program that has had some good history, some good seasons. You mentioned not having a winning season over the last 2 campaigns, and now they're ahead of schedule, that's for sure. Barring a miracle here, they fall to 5-4, 1-2 in the conference. Louisville will have ones across the board in ACC play and have a 6th win under its belt and 3 points to keep here in Louisville. Karamoko adding to the chance for NC State, gets past Svetnov. And Hakeem Karamoko has the first goal of his collegiate career.
I've been impressed with Karamoko tonight, and obviously came on in a tough spot. Your team's down 4-0, but he's been pesky down that right side, and then beats a couple defenders here, gets back inside, and a little too easy to get into this space. And he was able to get Jones to kind of hesitate there, thinking a shot was coming, and that was the movement that proved to be the goal maker for him. But nice job from Karamoko through traffic.
He's been in and around flirting with getting a score here, and finally gets that bubble to burst.
So if you're NC State now, you obviously did not like this result tonight by any stretch, especially the first half. But you say, hey, we got a couple goals here late, or in the second half. You feel good about the competitiveness of your team. And you take some positives from a performance like this one from Karamoko and some of your other guys. I think Lovelace has been solid. Obviously, Hilly is always good for him.
And a heck of a goal for first of his career at NC State. Obviously, he'd love the situation to be different. He didn't have a whole lot of celebration ready to go. But regardless, this is a player who, if anything, you learn that some of your newcomers, some of your young players really can make a difference. You see one bounce off the chest there of Aiden Payne, former Gatorade Player of the Year in North Carolina as well, before entering his career here at NC State for the Wolfpack. And Sammy Murphy working hard against Velez. Now against Abbas. Abbas, some contact. And a foul on NC State. 2.5 to play here in Louisville.
And the referee there telling Velez to be careful, because Velez tried to take Murphy out, and Abbas actually did okay on that initial effort, but a little too physical across the top of the body. Yeah, extended the arms there. It's an easy call, but Velez has to be careful that he doesn't get in more trouble.
Shot here, taken off the post. Ryan Nichols almost had his own bubble burst there. Would have been his first of his career. How about that take? But all for naught. Crowd reacting on the huge video board at midfield. There's Bazzi down to Bakuzo, taking some contact from Plamana.
All right, final 90 seconds. Neither team wants anybody getting hurt here.
Yeah.
As this ball is played back in. Really great one-time half volley through traffic. Hit it as cleanly as you can hit it. And yes, it is not a shot on goal. It does not count if it hits the woodwork. One of the weirdest rules in soccer.
Yeah, that is, for sure. Here's Santos right into the lap of Svetnov. I mean, it's unfortunate that that's not a rule, right? Or not a stat?
Yeah.
Because that is
Very
3
much
inches,
the definition of on frame.
3 inches back to Nichols' left, and that is in the net.
Yeah.
So Louisville gets its 6th win of the season. NC State falls to 5-4, but certainly not going to keep their head down. They don't really have time for that either. They'll host Gardner-Webb to get in a get-right game this Wednesday. Nokus giving chase, and Hatsios with a night that he'll have to flush quickly. The Louisville Cardinals showed out in an electric first half to earn their first win in ACC play in 2023